Cut that out.
Just hang up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hang up.
Yeah. I'll get a cease and desist
Yeah.
within 2 days. All right, let me make a mark and then we'll hop into it. Today's guest is what happens when a gym bro finds Bitcoin and never looks back. We're talking about the Mike Mincer of Mints, the Canadian Ziz. Jason Genova walked so that Buck Tow Truck could run. He doesn't just lift heavy, he holds harder. If there's a dip, he buys it. If there's a PR, he hits it. Fitness freak, Bitcoin believer, one of the internet's most entertaining thinkers. Buckle up for Buck Tow Truck. My name is Ethan, and I've got my co-host Brandon, and then we have our guest tonight, Mr. Tow Truck, Buck Tow Truck, Stockmaster Real One. How is everybody doing tonight?
Good.
The intro was too. Now people are going to expect way too much. Yeah, oh, there's just some guy, some hobo. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, we'll start simple. Who is Buck Tow Truck, and what's your origin story? What's your Marvel origin story?
Well, like that one Australian guy says, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Although I don't really have the brain power to make it that interesting, but basically, I grew up in a small town in Canada, and how long do you want this to go for? Because as I'm talking, I'm trying to like, oh, what might be interesting, what might not be interesting.
Totally up to you.
In my opinion,
Your story
would be. Yeah, I grew up in a small town in Canada. I've lived here my whole life, and I suppose I wasn't really into finance until later on, like in my like 20s. And it's not really finance; it's basically like hedging against my my money being devalued into nothing. So that's the main reason why I'm into Bitcoin. And I first got turned on to that by Stefan Molyneux. But anyways, got to talk about weightlifting. I think like everybody who got into weightlifting, when you're a kid, you see an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and pretty much everybody that's, I don't know, Gen X, maybe even the boomers, that's like their main inspiration. That's everyone's like first inspiration. It's like, I want to look like that. I don't know which movie I saw him in first. I remember, but I think maybe the Terminator. And
good one.
Although the first time you see him, he's naked and you see his bare ass. That's not what I thought of, though. That's not what I thought of. I was thinking of his arms. That's not gay anymore that way. Anyways,
right.
But yeah, that was, I don't know, it was probably like 9 or 10, and I started, and I was a fat kid actually, but I decided like in when I think I was in grade 8, I started playing football, started eating healthy. I lost weight, and so basically in high school, I started getting muscular, and I thinned out obviously, and then I worked out kind of off and on for years, and then in my mid to late 20s, I started working out seriously, like every day, not missing meals, not missing workouts, and that's kind of where I got. That's kind of where I've got to this point, and I'm self-employed. That's not important though.
Awesome.
So you kind of developed some discipline and created habits around fitness, and that kind of that kind of translates somewhat tangentially to investing in Bitcoin, mainly because I think investing in yourself through fitness and through training and whatnot, you decided, okay, well, let's invest in my financial well-being. So, like you said, you're hedging against an economy where, in crypto, what do they say? Like, not your keys, not your wallet. And in a very real sense, it's the same thing for our fiat currency. I mean, nobody talks about how you don't have like a stash of gold in your backyard that like backs up the cash that you're actually transacting with. But
Yeah, I definitely don't have one of those.
I have no gold in my backyard. That's for sure.
And I lost all my guns in a boating accident too.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Apparently, that's what you got to say. Yeah, it's just. Well, this is Canada, so I mean, there's no point in owning guns, anyways.
yeah, a little different, right?
It's not quite London, is it?
No, it's not that far yet. No, give it
Yeah.
20 years. 20 years. If you go to Toronto or Vancouver, well, I mean, why would you go to those places anyways? But yeah, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
When you say a small town in Canada, whereabouts? You're near
I'm in Southern
Toronto
Ontario.
side? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm somewhat near Toronto. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I have a friend from Sarnia, or no, he was from London, London, Ontario.
Oh, were you talking about London, Ontario, or London, England?
Yeah. Ontario.
Lon-
I meant London, England before, but
Yeah. I went to school in London, Ontario. Yeah, that's apparently that's like the I just saw London has got featured in a documentary about the opioid epidemic. Apparently, it's coming up in the ranks. It's still not getting at Vancouver's level, but they're coming in hot.
what a way to be on the map.
Yeah.
I understand, because the town I'm from, it was always that's Danville. That's where everybody gets shot and you get chlamydia. So I managed to avoid both, thankfully. But
Good job.
thank you. What do most people misunderstand about you, either in fitness or online? So, what do most people misunderstand about what you do, either in fitness or on your YouTube channel? We'll say that instead.
I don't know if they're misunderstand me, but the main things people will comment, because I've got about 99% positivity in terms of like, my like ratings 99% or more. Basically, they don't like that I can criticize weed and pot smoking, alcohol use or consumption, and they just say I look old as fuck. Am I allowed to swear? Or should I?
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Then I got to talk about my other inspiration, William Luther Pierce.
Okay.
You guys know him?
I don't know who that is. No.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe I'll leave that out then. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna look him up after the show's over now.
Oh yeah, you definitely need to. He's got some really good monologues. For entertainment
William
purposes only. Obviously, it's terrible. I would never agree with something like that. It's totally bad. Not hilarious. Not hilarious.
Disavow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think do some people not realize that you're Canadian and call you like a right-wing Trump lover?
No, I haven't been accused of that. Although I think the algorithm doesn't throw left wingers into my. I don't think that my stuff gets recommended to them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think I'm kind of shadow banned in a sense. I'm still growing, but some of the subscribers have told me, they're like, I've been subscribed to you for a year and I've never seen your one of your videos on the main page.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I did find yours organically, so I think it is getting out there. But okay, do you think the discipline you built through fitness helped you build conviction in Bitcoin?
Well, the thing is that with weightlifting, the reason why I liked it, I was never a very good athlete, but with weightlifting, it's all up to me, and I get out of it what I put into it, and there's no one can really take it away from me, unless they like club me over the head with a baseball bat or like hit my Achilles tendon or something. But with earning money, it's different than that. Like you can't control how much money the central bank is printing and how much money the state's borrowing, and so that's why Bitcoin is a way to protect yourself against that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
So
my connection between the two.
Did you kind of come to that conclusion yourself organically, or was there someone that you were listening to that kind of influenced that thinking in regards to Bitcoin?
Oh, I was a or I still am subscribed to Stefan Molyneux. He's the
Yeah.
one who kind of sold me on it. And then I later on I've listened to lots of Michael Saylor stuff, but in the early
Mm.
days, which is when I should have, everybody says this, I should have got in when it was. I think he started talking about it when it was $200 per coin,
Right.
and so I can only imagine how much he has. But you know, so like some people say, it's like it's never too late to get in. Maybe in 10 years, maybe too late. But yeah, I got in and I got in good time. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Um, and if anybody's listening or watching later and they don't know who Stefan Molyneux is, uh, when I first saw his name, I thought that it was a reference to what's that video game creator? I think there's a
Oh,
Molyneux
Oblivion.
that's a video game.
Peter
Yeah,
Molyneux. Yeah,
yeah, Peter Molyneux, because he made what is it called? Black and White? Is that what it is?
he made Oblivion, like the Elder Scrolls games.
Okay, but he
Yeah.
did like it was like an inbox game called like Black and White, I think as well.
Okay.
I think he was over Lionhead Studios for a while, but that's who I thought it was. But Stefan Molyneux, he is the first thing I can think of is like a philosopher. He's a very deep thinker. He's kind of like a social philosopher. He One of the things that I've learned from him that I really appreciate and have kind of adopted for myself is like just the non-aggression principle. He's very big on pushing that, and he's just someone who is very deep in sociology and personal psychology, I would say. But like taking ownership and responsibility for yourself and your own actions. Do you think that would be accurate to say?
Yeah. Well, it's
That's
like
a
libertarianism. Well,
yeah,
more so anarcho-capitalism. That's the sort of political ideology that he has, and he also talks about psychology too and other social
yeah.
issues.
But and he would definitely be like a true libertarian, not not like a top of the
Like a party
crust
libertarian.
libertarian.
Yeah.
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 Like the popular view of what a libertarian is like, you just have in America, at least, like if you say you're libertarian, people just assume that you have the don't tread on me yellow flag with the snake,
And the bumper
um,
sticker.
Yeah,
or the bumper sticker. Yeah.
what they know about libertarianism is what someone else told them about it, and it's actually,
Right.
well, I mean, it starts with a non-aggression principle, but it gets a little more complex than that, and then you also have to think about all of the free market economics, like the von Mises, or what's that called, Austrian economics, and all that
Hmm.
stuff that sort of kind of aligns with libertarian philosophy.
Yeah. And like the free market, the true free market, not um maybe the kind of capitalist
Corporatism. Yeah,
corporatism. Yeah, that's what I was
yeah.
going for. Okay, let's see here. So we kind of covered kind of the discipline that you built through fitness, helped build conviction of Bitcoin, some of the shared philosophies between lifting heavy and holding Bitcoin. And I think that's another good question is do you primarily buy and hold? Are you doing any like trading, like swing trading or anything like that? Or are you just like dollar cost averaging, averaging down?
I just I haven't sold Bitcoin, so
He's just
I just
along
buy it.
for the ride.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just buy it when I've got enough extra money to throw in
Yeah,
at this point. Yeah,
I like that.
And
But
you're basically all in on Bitcoin from what I've gathered. Is that fair to say?
pretty much.
Okay, got it. So I guess the question I have for you, right? I'm somebody who comes from the equity side of things. I don't do a ton with crypto in particular, but um why Bitcoin over, maybe Bitcoin and then diversifying in like real estate or like equities? Like what's your opinion, or I guess your philosophy on that?
Well, with real estate, it's kind of a headache because you might have bad tenants, so you got to vet that all that stuff, and then if you got to do some repairs, it might ruin all of your profits for 1 year. Or
That's fair.
Yeah, and then for I don't know enough about I don't research stocks. To me, Bitcoin just another thing is that it seems the safest, and then it's the least sort of intellectually demand, or not really intellectually demanding, but dealing with tenants is apparently as hell. Because or finding a good one is really good, but I don't want to have to deal with people because for me, I kind of have like two different settings. It's like one where I'm sort of passive, okay, and like I got to learn eventually. Although I'm 32 now, this might never happen, but I'm passive. I'm okay, I'm chill, but then I turn into Joe Pesci, and that's not very good. That's not good if I had to deal with bad tenants.
Which era of Joe Pesci and which movie in particular?
Casino era or Goodfellas. Or not
There you go.
Or yeah, he's in Casino. He's that era, yeah. Every Italian's like that though, so some just show up more often than others. You
All right. You can go ahead, Ethan.
I was just going to say, and you might be asking the same thing. So why, I would say, why just Bitcoin? How come you haven't diversified then into like Ethereum or when Litecoin was a thing, Litecoin or any other like coin that has come and kind of gone?
because Bitcoin's finite and the other ones aren't, and
Right.
they all rise and fall with Bitcoin anyways.
Yeah.
And if then I mean, I suppose you could look into these things and do like you get into like the meme coins, and then apparently that's where the money's to be made. But I don't. I would just lose money. I don't trust myself with trading. I would just lose money.
Yeah. In my experience, trading like meme coins and altcoins, that's kind of been the only experience is just losing money. I've lost money on Doge, Shiba, something called Saturna that I bought. And it's like a lot of these exchanges aren't very familiar or not familiar. They're not very friendly to people who are not like really deep in the crypto world. Like you have to like sign into an exchange that's listed in Lithuania and submit your like license to God knows who where it goes and
Yeah.
so I did that one time and I was like I know I'm gonna get like my identity has been stolen and it's only because I wanted to invest in this like sub sub 1 cent coin because I was hoping that it would go up like, 1 decimal over and I would be like a millionaire, but I just ended up losing $50.
Yeah. I'm still scarred by Dogecoin from like, I don't know, 2021, something like that. I like sold it before it proceeded to go up. And I would imagine that's usually the case for a lot of people who are kind of dipping their toes in some of these like, altcoins and other crypto related things. It's truly the Wild West is like how I see it compared to, I'm in the equity markets on a daily basis, but crypto, I mean, it's an entirely different ball game there for sure. So so you primarily just hold. You're like the Warren Buffett of Bitcoin. You're buying it and you're just holding for the long term. Is that basically what I'm gathering?
Yeah, until some sort of situation comes up where I have to like I don't know, for example, I got to get surgery. Well, in Canada we have that's what if I need to sell it, then I'll sell it. But then I'm going to be holding it.
And has your I guess your conviction on it always been the same, or is that kind of like grown over time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it helps when it's been going up. It's like, yeah. Although it's if you're on like crypto YouTube, which is a bad idea, people will be like, on this day it's going to be, well, the guy did that prediction, which was, I don't know, like he made a prophecy it's going to be 84,000 on March 14th, and it came true. And now he says it's going to be $444,000 at some point. I've been sucked into these before, and then my hopes get a little, I'm a little too optimistic about it, but I'm not thinking that it's going to go to zero. Like some people be like, oh, it's going to go to zero, and the whole thing's just made up by the NSA. The NSA, well, the NSA did like some sort of encryption, like double encryption thing, but people say that it's it's just some sort of thing to just rob a bunch of people of their money, and I don't really believe that.
What is it? Satoshi Nakamori is actually a NSA agent.
That would be wild.
Shoot. I was about to ask something. Oh, are you the only person like in your family and your friend group that's invested in Bitcoin, or is everybody else kind of bought in to some degree as well?
No, I told my brother to get some, but he didn't get any, and everyone else is, well, no, I guess my brother-in-law's got some, but yeah, everyone else is too boomerish to look into it. They're like, oh, you need to go to classic things because Bitcoin is volatile. Well, I mean, compared to what? Okay.
Yeah.
You got to do something because your fiat currency is just burning. It's apparently lost 25% value. The US dollar has lost 25% of its value in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been great.
Yeah.
What's been your, sorry, Brandon.
No, you're fine.
All right. I was going to say, what's kind of been your perspective as a Canadian with a bunch of like the tariff things going on with Trump, and I see on Reddit where people are like, don't buy things from the US, and they're showing like empty stock shelves of like or no, they're showing how all of the Canadian stuff is purchased, whereas like the US based foods or products are like left alone. Like, what's kind of been your perspective on that?
That's just silly bullshit, and it shows how stupid people are. Back in I can't remember, maybe, I guess before the pandemic, everyone was just pointed and it was just told that they needed to do the 2 minutes hate toward Trump, and then it was the people that didn't social distance, they didn't maintain a 6-foot social distance from people, and then it was the people that didn't wear masks, and then it was the people that didn't get the vaccine, and then it was Russians, and then it was people in, I don't know exactly who was more hated, the Palestinians or the Israelis. Israel's their greatest ally. And then what was it after that? I can't remember what was after that. But now it's the Americans, though. It's like all those Americans. The Canadians don't even realize that there's a shitload of tariffs that the Canadian government has on American goods. We could have cheaper dairy products by bringing in the American milk, but no, we have tariffs to make sure to keep the dairy farmers rich, because the dairy farmers around here have a lot of freaking money.
Interesting.
Right. And that's just a bunch of silly bullshit. It's like, oh, I'm not going to buy. I saw some guy. He's like, oh, I'm not. Smuckers, that's American product. Actually, I grabbed it off the shelf.
Yeah.
I want to buy the good one. I don't give a shit. They sell.
I forgot to tell you that.
Oh,
I forgot to tell you that in order.
Oh, sorry. You go.
In order to get on here, you have to actually be on like your 7th booster.
Oh yeah.
So we're yeah, sorry.
Uh-oh.
So
I'll be right back.
We might have to delete this.
I'll be right back. Click.
Yeah. Yeah, Shoppers Drug Mart's up until 10, so I'm sure I got a big arm. 7. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I remember they sell this beef from New Zealand. I don't even know how it's cheaper than the Canadian beef, and they sell it at the grocery store. So I buy that. Some guy told me, he's like, "Oh, that's from New Zealand. It's better. The fucking shit from Canada. Was the cow sickly? It tastes terrible. It tastes like they rinsed it in the toilet."
Yeah.
Wow.
It's juvenile, and it doesn't do anything. Like I saw on the anti consumer subreddit, Like people were like, we've been protesting Tesla. We've been Molotov cocktailing Tesla vehicles. How come the Tesla stock is going back up? And it's just people that are so distanced from reality to
Yeah.
understand that like they don't affect the market like that. And it's just like it's just juvenile.
Out of touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see Bitcoin, and I kind of rehashing a little bit, but do you see Bitcoin as a form of protest, a hedge, or a wealth play? I think that's kind of a difference as well. Is it seems to some degree that it's a hedge for you, but is there also a component of it being like a play and like hoping for it to be at such a point that you can then cash out into fiat to some degree?
Yeah, it's kind of eventually going to do that. But it would be it would be best to hold for as long as possible because I want to have a family someday, and so if I could give them
Right.
as much of it as possible, that'd be better because I don't think times are going to get any easier over the next 100 years.
No.
Yeah, I've always thought it's interesting that when it comes to like Bitcoin, it was meant to be viewed as kind of like a hedge against the equity markets, right? Kind of like precious metals, things like that. But as Ethan and I have talked about a few different times, it just seems like it kind of runs in tandem. Like if the U.S. market's up, right, then Bitcoin's up. Whereas if the U.S. market's down, crypto's down. Any theories as to why that is, or yeah, any insights on that?
Well, I assume if the market's down, people are just holding their money more, and
Yeah,
they're just it seems like that would be it. There's people aren't spending as much.
yeah.
That's a very layman take, but I really don't have too much insight into that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I think I heard talking about wanting to like hold on to that for your family. Ethan, did you hear that story about the guy who like bought a pizza with like a Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoins, something like that? It was obviously like ages ago, but I heard a story about a guy who like, I don't know, he like bought some pizza with Bitcoin, and it's like, dude, can you imagine how he feels now?
It was pepperoni and cheese, and I got it from Domino's. And
You were hungry. You were hungry. I get it.
yeah, I was very heavily invested in the Silk Road back then. But no, I wish that like I learned about Bitcoin and then CrossFit, so I could have been like I I could have been this svelte, muscular, athletic man that was like rich. Well, I learned about both of them in 2004, and for some reason,
Yeah,
I
you could have
didn't
been
buy
Wes
into
Watson
either
today.
one. Yeah, yeah, I really could have been. I just did. Number one, I was broke when I learned about it because I'm 35, so I was 18 then. I was broke as a joke, so I couldn't do anything anyways. And then I'm not sure how Bitcoin has changed since then. Like that's also another thing is like what were the mechanics in place in order for you to actually uh convert your US dollar into Bitcoin in like 2004. I have no clue what the tech looked like at that time and if it was even like feasible for just a regular Joe.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't. I had no idea what the hell. I had no idea what the hell Bitcoin was until I don't know 2015 or something.
Yeah.
In 2004, I was
My
just
wife just
into
said such a shame.
I was into WWE deep. I was into it deep. I wasn't missing
Deep.
yeah, I wasn't missing SmackDown or Raw, and sometimes I'd even watch a Sunday Night Heat.
Oh my gosh. I've got a bunch of that on my DVR that I've got to watch.
Yeah.
Are you still into wrestling?
No, I haven't. I stopped watching wrestling when I in about 2007, I think. And now I see some things from it, and it's like, wow, there's this new gimmick. Rey Mysterio's son Dominic, he plays like a I don't know, a femboy where he gets dominated by Rhea
Hmm.
Ripley, who's some like I don't know Australian olive skinned goth fembot that just like
Yeah.
clobbers him regularly, and he calls her mommy.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a good. He's really living up to his father's legacy. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, your dad was doing 619, and he's just doing the craziest moves and whatever. And what do you do? Oh, I get clobbered by a woman, and
Yeah.
I wear a diaper. I don't
And
know.
I wear a diaper.
Probably though.
Yeah. I get my head squished between this giant muscle mommy's thighs live.
Yeah.
If someone is curious or skeptical about going all in, where would you tell them to start?
I used to start with Michael Saylor, and yeah, that's probably the right guy to start with. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know who else to recommend for that. He's the guy. He's the guy. I wasn't really all in until I saw because I remember I Steph Molyneux talked about it and I procrastinated for a long time. I remember I thought I was gonna. I'm like I got to get into gold and I got to also get into Bitcoin and I didn't even do it until years later. And I didn't end up getting into gold. I did buy silver because I'm the clear value tax guy, the Chinese guy from
Hmm.
Chicago. He's like, oh well, my prediction is that silver is going to go really high this year because of electrical to EV demand because they use silver in as a conductor because it's a really good conductor. So I bought it. I'm like, hell yeah! I bought it at $30 an ounce, Canadian that is, uh,
Yeah.
and didn't go up. It's a total shame. And I think most people that, but anyways, for Bitcoin, yeah, I got into it, and then um, I just was like 1 year. I'm like, okay, I need to buy a full Bitcoin.
Hmm.
That's my goal for the year, and I then I later on I watched Michael Saylor. I'm like, okay, I got to hold this thing for a long time.
Yeah. What was Stefan Molyneux's kind of position that was like really enticing for you? What did he say?
Uh, well, that it's finite, and that yeah, and that there's less, the state doesn't control it, so there's less of a
Mhm.
chance of wars if that's going to be the dominating currency.
Since all wars are bankers' wars.
Right.
um, and then kind of Michael Saylor. I mean, obviously he's somebody who's deeply invested in it, but I didn't even realize that he had content to watch or listen to about it. What was kind of his thesis that also like encouraged you to buy and hold?
Well, his sort of timeline for the growth and his explanation about how the S curve of adoption
Right.
for like Apple, for example, and then if you got in like I don't know the early '90s, that would be similar to getting into Bitcoin now,
Hmm.
and
Interesting.
that that the real like value increase is going to be over the next 10 years from 2024 to 2034 because that's when
Hmm.
the last I don't know there'll only be 1% of Bitcoin mined the 1% remaining mined
Right.
in I don't know like 100 years from like 2034 to 2134, and so the real like value to be gained in it is going to be over the next 10 years, and then it's just going to
Right.
it'll slowly climb up after that.
And so for those who may not understand what he's saying, because I just saw this the other day, that statistic as well, is that uh, between now and the I guess the birth of Bitcoin, as miners and various other folks that are uh, mining the Bitcoin, they have mined. I don't know what the percentage is now, but they've mined a significant percentage, and the mining process is like solving. Um, I want to say it's something like solving like hashes or something like that. I know that it's just like there's computational power that goes into solving what the next, we'll just say code or hash for the next block of Bitcoin is. And that's why, 10 years ago, 5, 10 years ago, me, you, Brandon could have just like hooked up our personal computer and like mined Bitcoin because our CPU or our GPU would have been like running these computations on the hash to unlock the block. I think that's my understanding. Um, and so as uh, each subsequent block is unlocked, unencrypted, whatever you want to say that's technically correct, the next block becomes harder to unlock. And so once we get to 2034, we'll have what you're saying is we'll have unlocked 99% of Bitcoin, and the last 1% will then take a subsequent like 100 years to unlock. Is that kind of my understanding?
Yeah, that's what I've
Okay,
that's what I've heard. Yes.
that's what I've heard. That's what I yeah. That's I I
So what?
I technically
So
go
what you're
ahead.
saying is there's still room to the upside.
Right.
Yeah, and so now we'll just say theoretically we're at the 70% mark, and between now and 2034 we're going to rapidly reach, not rapidly, but we're going to reach the like 99% unlocked of Bitcoin, which means that the supply will be pretty much finalized by 2034.
Well, we're actually at over 90% mined because there's like 23 million
Okay.
Bitcoin that are going to be mined, and we're over 21 million right now.
Hmm. I like it. So fast forward, we'll say 10 years. What does the world look like if you're right about Bitcoin? And what's Buck Tow Truck doing in that world?
Hopefully, I got a country property uh, away from the bug man in the city, and I I don't think it's going to be looking too good. But the main uh, I don't think there's much hope for most people, but there is if you've prepared properly and have like a provision available for your for like a family.
Yeah.
And so that's my that's what I sort of think. Um, I don't know if I'm going to go like full. I mean, hopefully it's not too bad. I don't really want to have to go like Varg style, and uh, but maybe I could. I did work on a farm, so I can, and I know I do landscaping, so I know how to I can toil. Um, and I assume that taking care of animals isn't too tough, like more like chickens and whatever, because I wasn't really doing that on the farm. But
Right.
yeah, I think that's the goal for 10 years from now.
Yeah. I like it. I'm the same. Um, in fact, my wife and I just today we got two raised garden beds set up, uh, and hopefully we can start to produce some good veggies and stuff from that. But I agree. I think like it's somewhat of a counterpoint for someone who we're a finance show, but um, I I do not believe that the U.S. dollar is this like finite, untouchable resource, and I think that it's clear, like you mentioned, like uh, how much the dollar has lessened within the past couple of years, and then we continue to see these like societal strains against inflation, and I think a lot of people probably could combat that by having better personal finance, but it is no like doubt that inflation is continuing to grow. But I think that it's true. Like you have to have like a backup plan. You have to have something that will be able to project you forward into the next decade. Um, and it's cool to see somebody who's got as much conviction as you do for Bitcoin. I don't. My counterplay against societal collapse is GameStop, um, and I hope that I hope we've got another squeeze that happened like in 2021, but hopefully with like them divesting into Bitcoin and stuff, and if Bitcoin takes off significantly, that will also take off with my investment at GameStop. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on is the U.S. government buying a shitload of Bitcoin and the value going way up. And I think that's how it's
Yeah.
gonna. If that I don't know what his name is, Jimmy, whatever from Twitter. He says that it's gonna be $444,000 for one coin. Hopefully that's true. I think that's we're gonna need the U.S. to start buying it up, and other countries are buying too. So maybe even Canada will buy. Okay, we'll sell some maple syrup. That's the whole thing here. It's like maple syrup hockey, moose. That's Canada. Igloo.
Tim Hortons.
Oh, Tim Hortons. Even though you guys have that on the East Coast, or at least I went to one in Michigan. Yeah. Tim Hortons. Apparently, there's a good backstory to Tim Hortons that people don't really know, and they probably even if they did know, they'd still go buy coffee from there.
Is there something that would get
Kicked off Twitch or whatever.
consumer banned?
I think it's some sort of like it's a sort of O.J. Simpson situation. Not quite as bad
Yeah.
though, but there is alcohol and cars involved. I don't think O.J. was drinking alcohol, but there's definitely a high speed car chase.
With Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Mr. Tim Horton, yeah, he was like a professional hockey player at some point. I don't know. I don't follow hockey. I'm not a very good Canadian. I can't even skate. I like maple syrup, but yeah, I can't skate. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch lacrosse. Yeah, I'm just ashamed to my entire country.
I take it you probably don't listen to Drake either.
Drake. Unfortunately I've had his songs pass through my ears because they would play it, on the PA system in high school and whatever. And then we've got Justin Bieber too, who's from a town.
That's true.
Yeah, I've heard his stuff unfortunately, and I don't think it made me any better as a person, but yeah. It's
Are you more of a loony guy or a toony guy?
Loony guy? Oh, is that like a Bob and Doug McKenzie thing?
I don't know. I just know that's
well, the
what
loonies
you call
$1, toonies $2. Yeah. I'm more of a toonie guy, I suppose, just because it's a bigger number. I get it, but yeah.
What this is not relevant to anything else that we've asked, but what's the name of the fry dish with gravy on it?
Oh, poutine.
Poutine.
Yeah. That's your buddy from London, Ontario. They've got a lot of poutine places there. I remember I went to one after I went to the club. The one time I went to a club, I went to that place, which is like one of the most shameful and like horrifying days of my life. Being like a total square. But we went to the poutine place after. Didn't make it any better, unfortunately. But I suppose the poutine was good.
What a Canadian experience! After the bar, after the club, you go and you get poutine, maybe a shot of maple syrup.
It's right next door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your buddy went to that place. It's called Jack's in London, and it's it's like something out of like Babel or not Babel. It's Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. I don't have a lot of Canadian exposure besides that. I remember when we were traveling up through, we went past Detroit, which was uh, just like a black hole then, which this was back 2010 maybe to and then we passed. We're about to cross the border to go through Sarnia or near Sarnia, and when we went, we were at the border guard. Or Austin, and the guy he came in and he said, "Hey boys, what are you doing there?" I don't know. It's a terrible, might be a terrible Canadian accent, but he's just so excited. He was like, "Got any drugs?" We were like, "Nope." uh, what are you boys doing over here? And we said, we're going to go visit a friend in London. And he said, you got any guns in the car? We said, nope. They said, okay, well, hey, have a good trip. Just like sent us on our way. And it was completely like antithetical. I don't know if I'm using that in the right context to coming back through the US where like we basically got strip searched. It was a terrible experience.
They had to make up for it. Usually, the experience with the Canadian Border Patrol, Border Security, is the opposite. I've heard Americans are like they're like the worst. They're the total worst.
Really?
Yeah, I've always found that the the people who work in restaurants and who work in retail, and also the border security going into the U.S. at the Ambassador Bridge there in Detroit, or even in Niagara Falls or Buffalo. They're always way more friendly than when you're coming back talking to the Canadian people.
Interesting.
I think this might be offensive to you, Mr. Tow Truck, but in regards to your Sodom and Gomorrah comment, my sister said, "Don't look away; you'll turn into syrup." But
Nice, nice,
yeah.
nice.
We only have a few things as Americans to be able to like stereotypically say about Canadians, so I guess that's it. That little maple leaf.
There's not too much material. If you watch the movie Canadian Bacon, it's just you can summarize Canada in one movie, and it's even though it's a satire, that's just about as deep as the Canadian culture goes.
Yeah,
it's pretty on point.
Yeah.
Canadian culture. Would you say it's tied very close to culture?
Sorry, you cut out there.
I think
you cut out there. So what was that?
Can you hear us, Ethan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. What'd you ask? You cut out a little bit.
I was Canadian culture. You say that it's not very maybe deep. Is it very tied to American culture?
Yeah, it's like light beer American with a few different things, and then some like French stuff thrown in there. If you go to Quebec, it's a little it's a little more I don't know. I suppose you could say culturally rich, but I mean, frankly, I don't even know too much about Quebec. I was there last year, and I don't think I'm ever going to go back. It was like it was going into like a different country. It was kind of like Ontario, but just dark. You know how there's like the Pokemon. There's like Charizard, Dark Charizard. Well, it's kind of like that. I went to Montreal. Montreal was like a gloomy version of Toronto. I don't want to go back, and I also fucked my truck up too. Terrible.
Leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I drove way up in northern Quebec. I mean, I don't expect them to speak English. I don't really care, but they didn't speak. I mean, I expect them to speak a little bit of English, but there was
right.
The guy, because I had to get towed. I had to get towed back from northern Quebec. The guy, there's one guy that spoke English, and even that was terrible. And his employees and his dad is like hardly anything.
It's just all what they Quebecois is the
The Quebecois,
is
yeah,
that a
and
word?
they apparently they speak like redneck French because it's
Yeah,
back when I was in school they say yes is we, but they say ouais,
right.
so they make like
Yeah.
Waluigi noises when they're talking.
That's funny. That's like the Miami. Miami. I lived in Fort Lauderdale was for a while. It's from in Southern Florida, and like when you Miami, it's like going to another country. Like everybody speaks Spanish and expects you to speak Spanish as well.
Yeah, yeah, I've I'm I've no interest in going to Miami either. I'm not, these people they talk about, everyone wants to learn another language. I think it's mostly to impress people, but
Right.
you can't even go to Europe anymore, unfortunately. Uh,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna stick with English and hope that it'll be. Hopefully, it's gonna stick around for a while.
Well, it'll at least be in the States for a while. I think Trump made it the official language, right?
Yeah,
Ethan, wasn't that something I saw?
you figure that would be that's
Yeah.
like 250 years late, but
Yeah,
better late than never. In Canada, it's gonna be English might be the second language, but I mean whatever. Hindi or Punjabi, those will be the first languages. The tie for first, obviously tie for
type for
first. Yes.
first.
Not any First Nations language though.
Oh, I don't even know if those people speak that language anymore. Yeah, that whole situation with the natives is terrible.
Yeah. I was going to say in regards to us officially declaring English as our language, I feel like Germany was really holding their breath for like 250 years there.
Yeah.
The reference is because German was almost the primary language of the United States at one point.
I love Germany, but that would have been brutal.
It's too many
We could
syllables,
have
too
spread.
many
Yeah.
letters. Yeah, it's too fluffed up.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, one last question, and then we can wrap up here soon. But kind of what's on the radar for you personally for your channel? What do you have planned for the next couple of months to a year or so? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I start my landscaping season tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and well, I did some work last week, but it's going to be full time this week, and then for the next like 7 months, I'm going to be really busy. And I make my videos. Over the winter and then late in the fall last year, I was uploading every day because
Yeah.
I didn't work this winter, and I'll just make videos sort of intermittently. And the way I make them is I just kind of I'll be doing something and I'll get inspired. Then I'm like, okay, then I start recording, and then I do it. In terms of the weightlifting, I'm probably not going to be doing any more crazy cycles because actually,
Right.
it's not productive for work. I have brain fog like crazy when I have to eat all that food, and then the steroid usage and being like having the training in my mind where I'm like, okay, I gotta hit this weight, and then I'm like getting anxiety from that. It's not really not even worth it.
Right.
It doesn't make me money, and frankly, it just costs me a hell of a lot of money. And so losing weight's gonna be that's another good thing is that I don't have to be spending $1,000, $1,200 a month on food. Maybe I probably have to spend like $800 on food because you can't get good food cheap. Um, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm going to be doing.
Cool.
Nice.
Kind of on the I guess the creator question. So kind of posting intermittently. Um, do you have any kind of concerns about like channel growth or anything like that, or do you feel like that's just going to continue no matter what?
Oh, that'll continue unless I get banned. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some days I feel like just going all for broke and then just going like full something. Voldemort. I'll go full Voldemort. But no, usually that's sort of it's never the vid. It'll keep going up, but I don't expect it to go up too much over the next like 6, 7 months, just because I won't be uploading as often. And
Right.
the videos that always do better are ones that are more more involved. Because if I'm just doing a podcast, then it's just like, for me, it's just like one take, and then I'm like mixing as I'm going, and doing whatever, and then so it'll slowly grow. It'll slowly grow, and sometimes it'll be like 2 weeks after I release a video, then that video starts picking up, and so yeah, I'm not really too worried about it. I don't expect to be PewDiePie anytime soon. But it is inspiring when you see the number slowly rise, and
That's
I know
definitely cool.
as long as I upload regularly, and I know that there's definitely people that are like always going to watch it. But I'm not going to just upload some like filler stuff, or not like for example, you think of like pop music, or like or Judas Priest, where they like write an album and there's 8 songs and 4 of them are just filler. It's like, oh, we're contractually obligated to write 8 songs, and 4 of them are good, but then it's like, okay, we might have phoned those ones in a little bit, and I don't really want to do that. So anyways, that's my sort of thoughts going forward.
That I'm sorry to keep pulling it out, but I just that reminded me, your album that just released. Um, what was kind of your main inspiration for that? Like, who are your musical inspirations?
My musical inspirations are I well recently Meshuggah. I got into Meshuggah late too, because they started in the early '90s. Um, I bought I started listening to their stuff, I don't know, in August or so, but I've had the album Chaosphere from 1998 spinning in my truck stereo since September, and so that the album's like ingrained into my brain now. And then
Yeah.
before Meshuggah, it was Devin Townsend,
Mhm.
and I'm really into Devin Townsend, especially his vocal style, where it's just like, a shitload of echo, just with long extended like sustained notes of just yelling at the top of your lungs. And then and then the other thing that I throw in there is Judas Priest.
Yeah.
So that's all those 3 guys together is kind of what inspired most of my music in this recent album. Which is my only good album in my opinion. The other ones were just practice albums.
It's awesome.
And I have to I have to say that that album is in the CD player of your truck. Um, I only have one album on my phone downloaded, and it's your album. So whenever I go work out in my shed, I don't have any Wi-Fi out there, and I can barely get set for anything else. So I always have to fall back to listening to that. And so it's really good workout music. I like it.
I wrote some of it with that in mind. Like there's the song 21st Century, where there's the middle section there, where it's just like I do like a chromatic build in I started like, I don't know, with D, and then E, F sharp, and I'm singing these notes, these long sustained notes with a lot of echo, and the lyrics are really intense and the singing is really intense, because those all those notes are really high for me. And so I thought of that bridge there sort of being like the perfect soundtrack to doing a really heavy set.
Yeah.
And that's the best way I've been able to put it to music, and I'm satisfied with it. And then the other song, Hate, there, that one has which is kind of like a reworked version of my intro that I made for my channel. I really like that song too.
Yeah. I think
It's awesome.
it's a great album. So where can people find you? Where can they watch you? Check you out.
I got my YouTube channel, Buck Tow Truck. And then I'm on Instagram, Buck Tow Truck. TikTok, Buck Tow Truck. And yeah, that's about it. It's not.
You're consistent.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully the name wasn't taken, so yeah, I was lucky that way.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Any questions, Brandon? Any questions for us? I keep wanting to call you Mr. Tow Truck, but
That's my legal name. Yeah.
No, thanks. Hey, listen, thanks so much for, coming on and, taking time out of your Sunday evening to, entertain us and answer some questions. It's definitely been it's been great. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll let my viewers know about the podcast. Do you guys release it right away on YouTube, or do you wait a couple weeks or something?
I'll edit it either tonight or tomorrow, and then get it up tomorrow, ideally.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, all right. Well, it's good chatting with you guys.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And our sign off as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We can all three say it at the same time. It's plan the trade, trade the plan. And look, like we say, plan the trade,
Trade the plan.
Trade the plan. Sorry, I was a little off beat there. It's my first podcast.
That's okay.
No, you're fine. I mean, you don't have to plan the trade, trade the plan. I mean, you just buy and hold, so it's very easy.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
All right,
well, cool, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
When you're like Sam Sulek level of popularity, you'll just you'll have to say, "Hey, I remember the first podcast I was on."
There you go.
With
the
these
second
two
podcast
dudes
I'm on.
from...
Actually, I lied. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh,
that's all right. That's all right. We'll take it. We'll take top 2. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll take top 2.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Have a good night.
And Mark. Bye-bye. I love that you said bye-bye. That's funny.
Bye-bye.
That was cool. That was a real fangirl moment for me.
That's what?
That was a real fangirl moment for me. That'll be like if we get like Matt Kors on.
Oh yeah? That's
you,
really
yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, he's very interesting.
He was very knowledgeable as well about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like he was kind of underselling himself and
and what he knows about it.
Yeah, and what he knows about it.
He's
why
humble
for investing. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're let's see who's watching.
Who's still with us?
My two consistent watchers.
Listen, all right. Well, Stomach Bunny.
Thank you very much.
Sugar Booger Mama. Always present. Always consistent.
At the beginning, someone with the name BTNI, Bitney, did actually say, "Hello, people. What's the topic?" I've never seen them in chat before.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. No idea who that is, but and then I'm confused because it says interview tonight, Brandon, but I didn't put that.
Where at?
Right underneath the hello people, what's the topic?
I typed it. I typed that.
Oh, well, it pops up as me. I was so confused. I was like, wait, did I do that?
Check, mic check.
Boom.
Let's see here. Any last minute things here? And that was nice of him to offer as well to shout out to his channel. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that was very nice. We'll always take a nice little shout out.
All right, honey, is our daughter asleep? It's 9:05. Face is kind of half on screen. Oh, yeah.
No, you fix it.
All right. Okay, that's gonna be it for me tonight.
Trump tells NBC News he's very angry and pissed off at Putin.
I'm very angry. I'm very pissed off.
I love the transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to go eat some probably Taco Bell that needs to be heated up.
Oh gosh, Bitcoin. I meant to say Taco Bell, not Bitcoin. Okay, everybody on
That's Max.
Twitch. I am going to stop the live stream in 3, 2, 1.
One.
Yep.
Goodbye.
All right. All right, sir.
That was fun.